The United States has a crisis problem with veterinarians, and it's running out of them at a very fast clip. It is reported that up to 2,000 veterinarians leave the profession every single year, and these are the baby boomers that no longer need to work. Very soon the country is going to surpass 100 million dogs and up to 82 million cats. This is an ever-growing population of pets. The chronic understaffing of clinics often means that me and you consumers sadly get impatient and sometimes even hurl abuse and do not treat veterinary staff with the love and care and respect they actually need. With the stress and pressures of the job and some of us sadly not being very kind to them, that normally means that the higher staff turnover these clinics face is a dent to the industry. And this simply means that staff working at vet clinics churn and leave the profession at a much higher clip than other sectors. In short, an ever-growing population of pets that are no longer pets but full family members and need all the care in the world, and veterinary practices not being able to get hold of more vet graduates simply means there is a crisis looming, and the crisis is actually here now. In addition, we have another problem, and that is big corporate enterprises such as the Mars Corporation, yes, the chocolate company, has been buying veterinary practices at a very high pace since 2007 and now own more than 2,500 practices all over the place. These clinics include Barnfield, Blue Pearl Specialty and Emergency Hospitals, VCA Animal Hospitals, Linus and Anicura in the UK, and multiple hospitals in Singapore and Hong Kong. And this problem of consolidation of clinics really affects you, and it doesn't just affect one single country. In the United Kingdom, the Competition and Markets Authority is opening a review of how vet clinics and services are bought and sold amid concerns that pet owners may not be getting a good deal and receiving the information they need to make good choices. Less competition drive higher prices, with veterinary services and all the care they provide rising at a higher pace than that of inflation in recent years. This in short means that we have a monopoly problem, because if there's just a handful of companies that own all the veterinary practices around us, they can fix prices and they could simply charge and tell you whatever they want and whatever is good for the bottom line, and that is all the profits their investors might want from them. The number of independent veterinary practices has actually declined by 40% in the past 10 years here in the UK, and is expected to fall further. This simply means that there are very few independent veterinary clinics available to you, the consumer. What does this mean? What hope is there for you and me, pet parents, worried pet parents that simply see that all of these things are going to take a toll on our pets and how the industry is going? Well, it is now more important than ever for you to get educated, for you to wake up and smell the coffee, for you to learn about nutrition, for you to learn how to keep your pet's health on point, for you to know about longevity in pets, for you to read ingredients in your pet's food and treats, for you to get educated on biologically appropriate diets and the further expansion of holistic approaches. By liking and subscribing to the channel, and by following the advice that people like Dr. Judy Morgan from which all these quotes and data have been gathered from, you are sure to win this game that they want you to play. The book itself is called Keeping Your Pets Naturally Healthy: Holistic Care and Nutrition for Dogs and Cats. It is time for you to learn more about how you can keep your pet healthy, how with the power of nutrition you can keep them not just living longer, but giving them the actual quality of life they so deserve. Because pets are not just pets, they are truly another family member. You can purchase the book by clicking in the link down below. I couldn't recommend it high enough. By you reading it and by you learning more about the power of nutrition, you can surely keep your pet with you for longer with a better quality of life. And by the way, I interviewed Dr. Judy Morgan a while ago, and if you want to watch that kind interview, I want you to watch this video here.
Anything rendered is a dangerous ingredient. Anything that has to get fumigated on its way into the pet food manufacturing plant is a dangerous ingredient. Synthetic vitamin mineral mixes are a dangerous ingredient because they so often are formulated incorrectly, and so many pet foods buy from one or two distributors or manufacturers. So if we go back a couple of years and look at the vitamin D toxicity that was across so many brands, Hill's was the one who, kind of was leading the charge on that one. But there was excess vitamin D, and it causes kidney failure. And unfortunately, look at melamine back in 2007. You might be too young for that. Melamine back in 2007, but it came in a powder mix that many companies were using. And in both of those huge recalls, tens of thousands of animals had to die before 2 and 2 were put together to figure out what the heck was going on. And a recall starts because somebody starts to see a trend and says, oh, we something's going on. And so I want to see ingredients that I read it and I go, oh, beef liver, I know what that is. Beef heart, I can read that. And I don't have to be a highly educated veterinarian to understand the difference between a chemical additive and a real food ingredient. So for people who are not familiar with rendered ingredients, if it says something like meat and bone meal, meat byproducts, animal digest, those are rendered ingredients. So for those who don't know what rendering is, they basically take all the dead animals, which can be dead from anything. So it could be a cow that died out in the field. We don't know what they died from. Well, that clearly can't go into the human food chain. So they don't want them to go to landfills. Where do they go? They go in these big trucks and they go to a rendering plant. So we have big piles of different kinds of animals all piled together. So it could be anything really. And this is why when they do DNA testing of pet food, it may say on the label that this is a chicken and rice food. But when they do DNA testing, they go, oh, look at that. We have chicken, we have beef, we have pork, we have horse, sometimes they even find dog and cat DNA in there. And it's because of this rendering process. So they take all those dead animals, which usually sit in a big heap out in the sun for a few days before they're even cooked. And then they put them in a big melting pot, basically, cook them and melt them down. And then they're left with this kind of mess at the end. And then they dry it and powder it. So that's where we get bone meal powder or meat and bone meal powder, meat byproduct meal, because it's unnamed. So you never want to buy anything that is unnamed, which I looked at a product the other day and one of the ingredients was fish. I'm like, what kind of fish? Is that salmon? Is that pollock? Is that sardine? Like, if I have a pet with a sensitivity to salmon, then I'm certainly not going to buy something that says fish. And what that allows them to do, it allows them to use any kind of fish. So it's the parts and pieces and leftovers from the human food industry that, fish.